It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Welcome to the North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. I am so excited to talk to our guest today. He is working with leading edge technology, turning ideas into reality. We're going to be talking about the fully autonomous 8R tractor from John Deere. And our guest is a senior product manager for autonomy for the Intelligent Solutions Group at John Deere. That's a mouthful, where he's focused on discovering what farmers will need in their first autonomous products, and then working with engineering to develop those solutions. So I would like to welcome you, Joseph Liefer. Welcome, Joseph. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So can you give me a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with Deere for 16 years, and I've had the opportunity to do a ton of fun and amazing projects with them throughout that time. But most recently, I've been either working with some of our growth that we had in our planter and sprayer business in the mid 2000s when we created the Hagee joint venture and brought in several different sprayer companies around the U.S. And then when we acquired Blue River Technology in 2017, I've been working on how do we take their computer vision knowledge, right, and turn that into a See and Spray project or product now that we've been on a See and Spray journey with. And so really excited to see that technology coming to market in what is See and Spray Select, as well as some future announcements that should be coming here in the next months around that, as well as then working with the tech teams to take computer vision now and develop our first fully autonomous 8R. And so I get to really work at the intersection between ideas with farmers, what farmers are asking for new tech, and then translating that into products, and then also working with farmers as we bring that to their farm for the first time.
That's really cool. It seems like what anybody would want to be when they grow up. That's so cool.
Exactly.
So tell me about this new autonomous tractor.
Yeah, we're super excited to be part of the news last week, where we introduced our brand new fully autonomous John Deere 8R. And then for the audience here that we got today, right? The super cool thing for me to talk about it's the 8R that's in your machine shed today, right? It's going to be starting off with the tillage tool that might be in your machine shed today. And so what we do is we build off of that nearly autonomous ready 8R and all of the precision ag technologies that John Deere has in that, with our telematics, with our Starfire receiver, all of our auto track turn automation, our passive implement guidance. We string that together into one seamless experience. And then we're adding on top of that these stereo vision cameras, where we have 3 stereo vision cameras on the front of the tractor, 3 on the back of the tractor at the top of the cab, looking backwards and to the side of the system. And what that does, it gives us 360-degree visibility around the tractor for the first time, and allows us to perceive the environment around us. And right, as we can now perceive the environment, we can allow the farmer to step out of the cab for the first time. And so we leverage our GPS guidance really to drive the tractor through the field. And then these cameras and the computer vision algorithms that we've developed to look for any exceptions that might be in those farm fields. So whether that's, a tree branch is down, or say a roll of tile from the neighbor's field like blew in unexpectedly. We're looking for things that you would find in a farm field, as well as vehicles, humans, etc. And then we'll bring that system to a stop, alert the farmer through John Deere Operations Center Mobile, and really allow them to have confidence to leave the field, go do something else during the day or at night, right? The thing's designed to run 24/7, and allow them to have confidence that the system's running correctly in their field, and they can monitor it remotely through John Deere Operations Center.
That's very cool. So where are the cameras located?
Yeah, so 3 cameras on the front weight stack of the 8R, and 3 cameras around the top of the cab. So 2 pointing out the side, like if you're looking left or right out of your tractor cab, and then 1 pointed straight back looking at the implement and also behind the implement. So not only are we looking for objects in the path of travel, we're also looking at the job quality that's getting done, right? So is there any residue plugging in the tillage tool? Is there an uneven surface finish behind that tillage tool? And then we can bring the system to a stop and alert the farmer remotely saying, hey, something's happened, right? Do you want to make any kind of settings adjustments? So also new with our fully autonomous solution is one, they'll be able to get live images from their fleet. They'll be able to get live video from any one of the 6 cameras. So video on demand, if they just want to pull up and see how the job's doing, they'll be able to do that. And they can select the different camera feeds to give them a different view of the world, as well as then they'll be able to make remote adjustments. So today they might make adjustments to the tillage tool or TruSet in the cab. They'll do that from their phone in the future, make speed adjustments from their phone, and the system will automatically update. So they really have full control while they're back at the farm shop, while they're maybe doing another job on the farm or somewhere else in the community.
Yeah, that is so incredible.
Yeah.
What's crazy to me is thinking, you go through a field, say you're in corn, well, anything could be in that field. Right. And a human is looking and scanning and looking and scanning. So it can really see a fawn in the field. Hey, that'd be a good John Deere ad, actually.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. We've trained it to look for any anomalies in the field. Right. So what we train the system is like, here's what a harvested cornfield looks like, right? And here's what you should expect to see. So anytime it sees anything other than that harvested cornfield, right, it thinks it's a foreign object that shouldn't be there, so it's going to stop. So rather than try to train it on every possible thing that could be in the field, it's training on what it should be, what is navigable terrain in an open field farming environment, and then assume everything else is something that shouldn't be there to stop to make sure it's safe. Because the cool thing about what we do in ag is, we are in a private field, and the penalty to stopping is productivity, which we absolutely care about and we know farmers care about. But unlike, on highway where the penalty to stopping is a safety incident, right? You could get rear-ended. Trying to bring a vehicle to stop at 70 miles an hour is much different than us doing the same thing at 5 to 15 miles an hour in an ag field. And so we're very, very, very much focused on safety and productivity with this solution.
Right. I know a lot of the autonomous equipment these days is really crop specific. So that's what I was surprised that this is just the regular tractor that's already in your shed. We have that.
Yeah, we've been talking to farmers for a number of years around how do they want to see autonomy come to the farm? Where do they want to see it start? What job do they want to see us do it first in? And that's, to me, that's the most exciting part about this, because what we heard is start with current machine forms, right? Start with current farming practices, and then start in fall tillage. We know harvest is an extremely busy time of the year with combines, grain carts, semis, marketing decisions, as well as fall tillage. And so let's start by giving the opportunity for our farmer to step out of the tractor seat for fall tillage, and let's let them use their current equipment. So rather than have to go buy, a brand new machine or a specifically designed machine form, right, that can only do one thing, we take the tractor, the Swiss Army knife of the operation, we add tech to it to make it fully autonomous, and we're going to start in fall tillage.
That's amazing. And so it's operated off an app on your phone, just anybody's smartphone?
Yep. So we farmers today are using John Deere Operations Center Mobile to manage their operation, right? Where is my equipment at? Is it working? Is it not working? What's the fuel level, right? Understanding machine data. So rather than have them have another application or learn something new, that's the theme too. You'll see with the way we're bringing this to market is we try to just make it an incremental step and let them leverage things that they already know and use in their farm today. So there's now in the John Deere Operations Center Mobile, there's now an autonomy card, which allows them to manage their autonomous equipment, and that's where they can approve motion. That's where they can stop it. That's where they'll be able to call it to the field edge, say that they need to refuel that tractor, right? All that tech, all that communication between tractor and the farmer will be done through John Deere Operations Center Mobile.
Amazing. And so where is the data stored? Is it really accessible by the farmer? And how you hear farmers talking about data overload, right?
Yep.
So is it how do you handle that?
Yeah, no. So great question. One, so farmers will be in control of their data like they are today, right? So they'll continue to manage permissions through John Deere Operations Center, and ultimately we're using the same telematics communications JD Link that the tractor is today for autonomy, right? So the same connectivity between tractor and cloud and Operations Center will exist. So farmers will a couple things. One, we're going to make sure farmers are trained on how to use autonomy, and then they'll be able to let their John Deere dealer know of who else in their organization they would like to control this autonomous equipment. The John Deere dealer will make sure they get training as well. And so just like they manage permissions for partners today in Operations Center, they'll manage permissions for autonomy as well. And so we're trying again just to make it just a different toggle or a different small incremental step for them to manage it. But then ultimately for the data coming off that tractor for that tillage operation, documenting the job, it'll all go to Operations Center. Job reports will come through John Deere Operations Center Mobile as well as web. And really the digital tools, the digital engagement will stay the same for farmers.
Very cool. And, in a way, I was a bit disappointed when I got saw the news and looked at the tractor, and I always kind of imagined these tractors would look super cool and futuristic, and that's clearly not the case. So why does it have a cab? Can you just get in and drive it?
Yeah, so it's designed that it is autonomous in the field, but you still have to manually drive it from field to field, right?
Okay, yeah.
On highway autonomy is regulated, right? And having the being on public roads, right, is like the regulation there isn't clear. So rather than have John Deere focus there, we're focused on the job that the farmer does in the field. And so as they enter their field where they have, boundaries or a geofence location for where that tractor can operate, that's where we'll deliver full autonomy at. So they'll drive the tractor to the field. They'll do some quick setup, 2 to 3 minutes of setup on the command center for job specific, field specific information. Then they'll be able to jump out. They'll see the guidance plan on their cell phone, swipe to approve motion, and then they'll be able to walk away and go do something else.
Wow. So what are you seeing as the efficiency difference between tractors with driver versus driverless?
Yeah. Hey, great question. And so there's a couple things that might jump out to us for fully autonomous versus manned, right? And the first one would be the fact that this machine is truly designed to run and work 24/7. And so it's no longer I'm working a 12, 16, 18-hour shift, right? We know farmers work extremely long hours, especially during the busy season. So it's no longer tied to a human working a shift or even multiple humans working a shift with the tractor, right? There's no more lunch breaks and bathroom breaks with this tractor as well. The only thing that needs to do is it needs to be refueled, every 8 to 10 hours, given an 8R doing autonomous tillage. And that's the only time the tractor needs to stop, or when it completes the field, right, and notify the farmer before the job is done, as well as when the job is done. And then they can come to the field edge, pick up their tractor, move it to the next field, start the next job, right, and go do something else. And so let's say you get a 30% productivity gain, right, because you can all of a sudden you can work that many more hours 24/7. But also the other thing is it's a force multiplier for farmers. So they now have the option as they step out of the tractor cab to go do something else, right? It could be another job on the farm, like I mentioned earlier. It could be just having dinner and spending time with the family, or it could be doing something in the community. So it really allows them to do two things at once, have confidence that the tractor's doing a job in the field, but then, they could be focusing on something else to make money on their farm.
Right. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Another thing that this makes me think of is,
Yeah.
quality skilled labor is huge on farm issue
Yeah.
today. So I can see this technology is going to help significantly
Yeah.
with that. So do you think that's the one of the biggest benefits to farmers?
It's definitely a huge benefit to farmers. What we've heard as we've talked to farmers on why they're interested in autonomy is, one, like we know there's just incredible time pressures, whether it's spring or fall, even during the growing season, right? Time pressure is real. Weather events making the window smaller is real. And the fact that a lot of times, right, these jobs need to all happen at the same time. And so trying to get enough labor to do the job in this 6 to 8 week window that it's willing to work these extremely long hours, right, is a challenge, right? To your point then of skilled labor as being the challenge. It's all of these things adding together that create this environment where farmers are asking for another tool in the toolbox, and that can be autonomy now, where they can have something that'll work 24/7, work the tight windows when the ground conditions are right, allow them to run this tractor and allow them to go do something else. And so that's where we see autonomy really shining for farmers. And then the cool part is, as we've had conversations with growers, it's not just like it's a one it's geared to one size farm operation or the other, right? So if I'm a part-time farmer that has a full-time off-farm job, right? Like all of a sudden autonomy can help me farm during the day or at night when I'm doing something else, right? If I'm doing seed salesman or agronomist on the side as well as my full-time farming operation, right? All of a sudden this frees me up out of the tractor seat to go do some of these other jobs where I'm making money for my family business. And so it's really starts to appeal on a lot of different levels across all the farming operations.
Yeah, very good. And what about pricing? How does it compare to regular 8R?
Hey, great question. So we haven't released pricing yet for
Mhm.
our autonomous 8R because it's a limited release right now in fall of 2022. We'll release pricing once we do full commercial release, which will be in a couple years.
I see. Okay. And then what about maintenance? What is going to be unique to this tractor when it comes to
Yeah,
maintenance duties?
yeah, great question. So one, we'll talk about maintenance, and I'll talk about some of the other features that we have to bring to market with autonomy, right? So today, a farmer sitting in that seat, not only, are they making sure the tractor's operating where it should be, but they're also making sure the job quality is good on whatever operation they're doing. They're also looking at the equipment, the machine health, right? Is everything functioning properly? They're looking over their shoulder at the tools, anything broke, etc. And so we're also automating some of those things that a human would be looking for with this new autonomous 8R. So we're going to automate the ability to look for things like, hey, do I have a broken shank in my chisel plow, as the example job that we showed. And so we'll train our cameras and the computer vision model to look for a broken shank, right? And if we notify we have a broken shank, we'll stop the system. We'll notify the farmer. We'll ask them, hey, do you want us to continue, or do you want to come out to the field and fix it? And in a lot of cases, they might choose to continue. We'll go ahead and let them know where that broken shank can be found, right? Because you're not going to hit it with the planter come spring. And then the tillage tool could complete the field, and they'll come back and be able to fix it at the end of the field once they have the part, and grab that broken shank from maybe hitting a subsurface rock. So that's just one example of how we're automated some machine health tasks, or just like these tractors have eight tires on the tractor or 12 tires on the implement. Yeah, we'll put tire pressure monitoring systems on there, something that we don't have today, but it's easy tech to incorporate in this autonomous solution. And so if a tire starts to lose pressure, again, we can notify a farmer exactly what tire is going low, and then they can get it fixed right away before it turns into a costlier repair. And so we do expect that we'll actually improve some of the maintenance and diagnostics with autonomy by having some of these new sensors, new features on it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so why, and broader, thinking
Mhm.
globally, I guess, why is
Yeah.
the future of autonomous tractors so important?
For us, I mean, it goes to a couple things, right? And you've already hit on a couple of those, Chrissy, is around, right? the people working in agriculture around the world continues to shrink, right? The move to urbanization is real across the globe. So the need to get skilled labor on farms all around the world is a challenge, as well as just the growing population. And so again, we think of this as one tool in the toolbox for farmers to help them grow more food on the land that they farm today to feed that growing population. So the farmer is still going to be center stage, right, in on managing their operation and making those decisions on how to maximize yield. And we just want autonomy and some of John Deere's precision ag technologies to be some of the tools and resources they use then to meet that growing food demand.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, it feels like the future is now, but
Yeah.
where do you see that AI could even possibly go in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question, and one like it's super exciting for me. Because you're right, 100% personally, right? Believe like this is the next revolution of farming, right? 20 years ago, we came out with self-driving, or our, as John Deere calls it, auto track with our GPS solution. And now we come out with building on top of that fully autonomous operation in the field. And so we started with fall tillage. We started with an 8R wheel tractor, right? But if I think about it, there's a number of jobs that tractor does on the farm that we can make fully autonomous, and then there's dozens of machine forms that John Deere produces that we can start building to be operated fully autonomously. And then from there, right, it really opens up the door as farmers then start to use this type of tech to have good conversations. All right, what do you want next? Now that you have the confidence that a piece of equipment can do the job the way you want it on your field, what do you want that job to look like in the future? And so, it really kind of opens up the door for us to make the farm fully autonomous. And then from there to do, more specialized, call it superhuman jobs in the farm field, leveraging robots and machine learning technology.
Wow, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
And is there anywhere that a producer can go to see a live demo in the coming months?
So right now, the best place of information is going to be on our microsite coming out of CES. So deere.com/CES. That's where we're putting information. We do not have any public demos scheduled. So, really it'll be stay on the lookout for, Deere social media or working with your John Deere dealer. But right now we are actually, working to build units for our limited release in fall 2022.
Wonderful. So one more question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you personally serve the ag industry? Why do you love it?
Yeah, no, fantastic question. So I've spent my entire professional career in ag. I grew up in a rural community in Southern Illinois, and then just fell in love with the mission that farmers are on, and just how connected they are to the land and the job that they do of growing food for the world, right? So it's so inspiring to work in this field. And then additionally, 3 years ago, my wife and I also started to get into farming ourselves. And so been working in the field now for so long that I went from working for Deere now to buying Deere equipment for my wife and I's operation. So it's just a passion in the blood now.
Very good. Well, thank you for everything you do too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for joining me today. And thanks to everyone who's watching or listening. If you want to learn more, I'll make sure that those links are in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to our North American Ag Spotlight on YouTube, Rumble, or Ag Fuse channels. And the podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And have a great day. Thanks so much for listening to today's Ag Spotlight episode, where we put the spotlight on people and companies doing great things for the agricultural industry. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Stitcher, or on your favorite podcasting platform, and give us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on YouTube and Rumble to see the video version of Ag Spotlight. Also, head on over to NorthAmericanAg.com to subscribe to our Industry Connect update newsletter. If you're interested in advertising opportunities, email us at connect@NorthAmericanAg.com. Thanks for listening.